Imagine a world where the church isn't just a place of worship, but a power to be reckoned with, and society operates on a rigid hierarchy. Welcome back to the Middle Ages. Today, we're diving deep into three fundamental aspects of this era: the feudal system, the role of the church, and the Black Death. Before this time period, large empires controlled parts of Europe, such as the Greeks and later on the Romans. When the Roman Empire collapsed, many parts of Europe began to form smaller kingdoms that competed for control, leading to constant fighting and warfare. As a result, the European kingdoms adapted to what life looked like in the Middle Ages. Let's start with the feudal system. Imagine it like a pyramid. At the top, we have the king, who owned all the land but couldn't manage it alone, so he gave lands called fiefs to lords or vassals in return for loyalty and military service. These lords had their own vassals, sometimes called knights. They were warriors who swore to defend their lord's land. Finally, at the bottom, we find the serfs or peasants. They worked the land, giving a portion of their produce to their lord, who in turn offered them protection. So, the feudal system was about land, loyalty, protection, and service. It was the glue that held medieval society together. Moving on to the church, it held a place of extreme importance during the Middle Ages. The church wasn't just a spiritual hub. It wielded political power, owned vast lands and wealth, and influenced daily life. It was a unifying force in an era of constant turmoil. Monasteries and convents became centers of learning, preserving ancient texts. Very few people in Europe during this time were literate or could read or write. These skills were often reserved for priests and religious leaders. The church also had its own legal system, the canon law. It dealt with spiritual matters, but its reach extended to social aspects too. In essence, the church and the feudal system interwove the fabric of the Middle Ages. They defined the social, political, and spiritual landscapes of that era. Like the feudal system, the church controlled much of what life was like for a regular person in medieval Europe. The feudal system was designed to protect people in exchange for loyalty to a king. The church operated in a similar way by providing people protection and peace in the afterlife in exchange for loyalty to God or the church. The Middle Ages was not just about the church and feudal hierarchies. It was also a time of immense challenges. Perhaps none was more devastating than the Black Death. The Black Death, or the bubonic plague, arrived in Europe in the 14th century. It's believed to have traveled along the Silk Road from Asia, hiding in the fleas on black rats that hitched a ride on merchant ships. And the impact was catastrophic. Over the span of just a few years, the Black Death wiped out an estimated 1/3 of Europe's population. The plague didn't care about your place in the feudal pyramid. It affected everyone, from serfs to lords and even clergymen. It was a grim leveler in an age of stark social divides. The massive loss of life had profound effects on European society. It led to labor shortages, which in turn sparked revolts and social upheaval. Serfs demanded higher wages, and the old feudal system began to crumble. The church, too, was affected. People began to question their faith as prayers seemed to go unanswered. Some even blamed the church for the plague, causing a decline in its authority. In the face of this devastation, though, humanity adapted and moved forward. The aftermath of the Black Death set the stage for significant changes, a shift towards modern labor practices, the Renaissance, and even the beginnings of the Protestant Reformation. So, as we journey through the past, remember, even in the darkest hours, the seeds of transformation are being sown. The Middle Ages, with its chivalry, the church, the feudal system, and even the Black Death, shaped the world we live in today. Join us next time as we unearth more captivating chapters of history. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more educational adventures. Until then, keep exploring!